uniquely positioned to be the face of the entire sport in the United States. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Yeah, the world's greatest table tennis player. That and 250 gets you on the subway. It only means something to him.
You know perfectly well what an American win will do for the future of the sport. I'm good for table tennis.
You know, the dream is a pure dream.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
That doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Marty is an ambitious young man who wants to be recognized as the greatest table tennis player in the world.
There we go!
This character who has these dreams and he's very, very stubbornly driven by it.
I don't think I see this as a classic emotional arc. You know, one of the first conversations I had with Josh Safdie and Ronnie Bronstein, co-writer, was sort of in terms of act structure, the way a classic movie's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And, you know, they said, forget about all that.
What a great conduit to explore the costs associated with pursuing a dream, any dream that's fused with your identity. To do it through table tennis, then you can raise those costs to the level of a fable, because that was interesting to me.
Part of the seduction is, of course, the apple trick, a cue that unfolds in time.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna make an apple appear in that bowl. And if I do, you're gonna blow off your little rendezvous.
No.
We begin with a digital harp sound. It's a wistful sound. It's feminine.
I'm gonna do it anyway, okay? 1, 2, 3.
But it's Marty's charm operating within Kay.
I'll leave a ticket for you at the box office.
She's made her decision. She's gonna go check this kid out. And so she needed a sort of fitting entrance. And so we gave that to her as she ascends into this arena. She's sort of ensconced in this music that's kind of billowing and taking her up. And we understand also this is Marty's stage. This is his theater.
Kay is deeply lonely, and Timothy's character really sparks this hope of aliveness and of connection. And I think she's very savvy. She knows that it's a bit transactional, but still, I think she sees a little bit of her own hustle in him.
We go with her point of view twice in the film. So we're being reintroduced to Marty now through an outsider. It's an outsider who's being charmed. And he has no idea that she's there. So there's a privacy to it.
Game and match point.
We wanted to have the light, fall off like this and goes into the dark, like ghostly faces in the background. I remember this painting that I love from George Bellows with a boxer painting, and you see the people in the back like this. It was a similar kind of light in my idea, like a fight, like a boxing fight, shot like it would have been shot in the 50s almost, I love the classicism of it and the minimalism of the look, the general look of Wembley. It's almost like a black and white image that's got very little color.
We're adding to the film things that they can't write in the script. And so you start investigating through journals and photographs and paintings, depending on the period.
The semifinals, they kind of go back to the first visual inspiration I had for the film, which was this wide shot of a table at Wembley for the British Open in 1948 is where I saw it. And it was one of the first things I shared with Jack.
Back in the 50s, we were coming off the war and the colors were much deeper. And there was a lot of green. I try to stay away from white in films. White is kind of the absence of color, and it's jarring. If you shoot something white, it's clear. There's nothing there. There's no textures. So I use color as much as possible, and that's one reason I love period films. It helps inform the actors that they're in a different time and a different era. There's a great museum in China that had some of the original tables, and we were able to get pictures of them in color. It was important that they matched historically. I try not to make it look overly designed. It gave it a seriousness to the event.
To do this with Jack and Miyako was incredible.
Wembley was like a whole thing. In the colors, we did 16 countries, just kind of figuring out what country is wearing what and what their uniform is versus what their warm-ups are gonna be. That was the whole thing. I had to do custom patches for everything and how we were going to create the patches and how different each patch was gonna be so that they look homemade because a lot of them looked homemade. Here's India. This is another half sip. Here's Sweden. We made these custom patches we had sewn on. Here's Hong Kong. If everyone was in a black polo at Wembley, I think it would have been completely different looking. And I'm glad that we had some color variations in there.
The casting is stellar. Faces and bodies that you only see in real life. You never see them in the movies. And it's so refreshing to have that participation and enthusiasm.
When it came to the matches, it was kind of the most anxious I was in regards to the filmmaking process because I'd never done it before.
I had 4 months to prepare playing Marty Mauser, but the table tennis training has been nonstop since the pandemic. In my apartment in New York, I had a table tennis table set up that Josh came over and he actually sprained his knee.
So he was technically able to play every single point that you see in the movie. The problem is I have to do them multiple times and you're never gonna be able to do them again twice. So a big part of the movie became the choreography between the two actors and getting it down perfectly to the timing. You know, some of it's real ball and some of it's VFXing the ball.
You think it's an improvisation, but it's not an improvisation. It's Josh and Ronnie write the script almost all the time. You have the feeling that it's always alive. So yourself, you have to be moving. You have to be ready for something that can happen anytime.
Timmy just looks beautiful, and the way he's performing was something that we talked about a lot. This feeling that he personifies greatness, he's perfection. And the magic of showmanship, the magic of stardom is essential because it's what inspires Kay to kind of return to the stage. She sees this thing that she's abandoned. She sees the dream. She sees what Marty is chasing and the enchantment of it.
They feel like kindred spirits, and they begin this very unique relationship together.
Timmy lets out a little laugh, which is these little things that Timmy would do to fill the character with life.
Wins the game and match 21-6, 3 games to 0 and advances.
We introduced Marty as a magician in the scene prior with the apple. He's magical now. He's able to capture the imagination of the 20,000 people who are there paying a ticket. He's an entertainer. He's a performer.
I love all of these things that Josh does to encourage real behavior and real moments.
Have you lost your damn mind?
I was excited to work with Josh because he reminded me of my beginnings in the 70s, working with young directors. After Easy Rider, the studios didn't know what the public wanted, and so they were taking chances with young filmmakers. Josh reminded me of them.
To have a dream is incredibly lonely. Dreams are there to inspire, they're for the believers. They exist outside of time. There's an urgency to a dream, like we might wake up at any moment. And there is beauty here that Marty does wake up. One dream ends and another begins.